Good afternoon, folks. Ray Bessette here at the Firm U, and I have, well, not a new client anymore. I have a client here, Robert, and we did a video about a month ago on his results in just 1 week. And so now we're just following up with another video. It's been, what, now, a month? Or
1 month.
12 personal training sessions, 1 hour personal training sessions. And Robert chose to go with a blood test that we provide here at the Firm U in conjunction with one of our physicians. And we just went over his labs. We went on the bioimpedance scale to get some measurements to find out where his status is or results, and also the 3D scanner. And so we'd like to share that with you. And Robert's been kind enough to agree to share all this information here.
Sir.
And it's pretty impressive. So put your seatbelt on. So Robert, how was your experience so far here, just the working out?
The working out is great. The training part of it is I guess the most important part. You know, Ray's very open-minded when it comes to my lack of strength in certain areas or whatever. So, I've it's really been enjoyable, if there's such of a word for working out. But I've got all kinds of good benefits. I can bend over now. I can walk without a limp. And so I mean, it's all been 100% progress, and found out a lot about my body that in 50-something years that I never would have known, unless I'd have had that blood work done. So I think that's the most that's second to the most valuable part of this, as far as Ray being methodical and open-minded and knowing his business. It was definitely the second greatest thing that I've done.
Yeah, we've had a lot of muscle imbalances with Robert, and it's pretty common, as we age, that we're going to have one side stronger than the other, one side more flexible than the other, and it really throws off your gait when you walk. And I could tell just from Robert walking from his car to the studio that there's a little bit of a limp, or his gait was off a little bit. So I saw some muscle imbalances. So we had already corrected most of those, and also dropping the amount of weight that you dropped in such a short time is very impressive, and that's a lot better on your knees, I'm sure, right?
For sure, yeah. Overall, all of my joints in my body, I was taking at least 800 milligram ibuprofen every day just to survive, and I guess in the last month I may have taken 2. And so, that's definitely, easier on my internal system anyway, so like I said, every day I come here, I learn something different every day about myself.
Yep, and also that ibuprofen can really have havoc on your internal organs, especially your liver.
Yes, sir.
So, and there's a lot of side effects to any kind of medication. So, I was in the business of selling medication for a living and retired, and now I'm my number one goal is to get most people off of medications and use supplementations when needed. All we're doing is just supplementing, and I get the supplements from knowing what the blood tests, look at the deficiency in the blood test, and we saw some deficiencies. We're going to go over that in a minute. So what about your diet? How has that changed?
Oh, totally changed. I went from Dr. Pepper's and Snickers bars to, 1 protein and 1 vegetable at each setting, so, and portioned out, not all I can eat. So, it's definitely had a tremendous effect on my overall appearance. So it's been good.
Well, I told you today, he's going to have to wear a name tag because I can't recognize him anymore. He's lost so much. And you're really thinned out in your face. If you go back a couple weeks from our last video, it's almost like I'm sitting next to a different person here. It's a good thing. I think last time you wore a green shirt, now you got a black shirt on, so we can tell. So anyway, what we'd like to do is just share some of the measurements, both the bioimpedance and the 3D scanner, and also the blood test too. And again, Robert has been gracious enough to share some of his numbers with us. Actually, we're just going to say hi, hello. Anyway, so one of the biggest things that we noticed in your blood test. Now, the blood test that I order for my clients is based upon things that are not covered by insurance. Insurance companies will insure things that discover things. I look to prevent conditions rather than to discover them. So a lot of that stuff is, or a lot of those panels that you see, you can't get covered by insurance unless you have really good insurance or a doctor that gets the right billing code or the symptom to justify spending that extra money or that getting that panel. Most insurance companies have a real basic CBC, liver, kidney, sometimes vitamin D. But first thing that we looked at was your glucose, and that's covered by insurance, and that's an indicator of what, after fasting for 10 to 12 hours, what your blood sugar was. You remember what the number was?
It was high. I know that. So it was.
Yeah, we're pretty high. It was high.
High enough to be diabetic.
Yeah. Well, that was through. Well, we found that out through. The glucose itself is not a really good indicator because that can change from day to day. I mean, if you eat donuts 4 days straight in a row and go get a blood test, it's going to show differently than if you stop eating donuts all of a sudden. And then, but A1C is a 3-month average of what your glucose levels are per day. So it also determines if you're pre-diabetic or diabetic. And you were diabetic and didn't know it.
Oh yeah, for sure. That was the scary part of it right there. I mean, I would have never. Well, I would have believed it. I was a Dr. Pepper and a Snickers guy. Now I'm a meat and a protein and a vegetable guy. So it makes all the difference in the world for sure.
Right. Your glucose was high. We like to keep it under 99. You were well above that. Your A1C, which is again a measurement for glucose levels on a daily basis for an average about 3 months. That puts you in the diabetic category. So that's really hard to lose fat when you have that much sugar in your blood. Now your body prefers fat. Oh, there's 5 pounds of fat, by the way. Your body prefers fat for energy, but in the presence of sugar, it'll always use sugar first. That's why weight training is so important, is because weight training will burn the sugar out of the muscle, which is glycogen that dissipates out of your body, and then the sugar that's in your blood will replenish the muscles. So that's why it's so important to lift weights rather than to do cardio. Cardio burns sugar, and then it never really gets down to the fat cells because most people just push a button, walk, and there's no metabolic effect after that. So cardio really it's great for meditation. It's great for it's good for stuff like that. It has its place, but for fat loss, the quickest way to get there is to lift weights, like we've been doing. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, so your liver enzymes are a little high. Okay, so the doctor recommended milk Thisco, which I have in stock, and we got that going. C-reactive protein. I always check for C-reactive protein. That's a measurement for inflammation. Inflammation is the start of most conditions or diseases. I hate to use the word diseases, so we just call it conditions. So your C-reactive protein was really good. You were in a good category on that. Your vitamin D was good also. And normally people that have high levels or good levels or in the range levels of vitamin D take supplements. And you had taken supplements before, yes, but I think it might be still in your system. That's why they're so good. And your PSA, which is your prostate, was really good too. Yes, and at your age, or our age, I should say, I'm actually older, I can say that, right? Prostate was really, really good. So also your testosterone levels were not real low, but they were low enough, they weren't optimized. So the doctor looked at that and came up with a plan to get you on testosterone. And it's a troche, something you put in your mouth. And we added a couple other deficiencies in that troche to get you to optimal levels So the next time in 3 months when we take your blood test, you know, these numbers are all going to change. They're going to look great. You're going to put on your high school jacket again here pretty soon. So anyway, so we also did the 3D scanner. But first of all, let's go ahead and look at 3D scanner. Get up on the screen right here. So we started with, there's 4 locations right here in the middle of Robert's midsection, and those measurements add up to 181.2 on April 27th, about a month ago. So we got on the scanner a couple days ago, May 22nd. Now he's down to 174.2. Now that's an inch loss of 7 inches per line here. Or I should say the average of these 4 lines, divide the 7 inches by 4. It's almost, well, God, an inch and some change.
Yeah.
So we're looking at some major differences here. You must be getting some kind of comments from people.
Oh, for sure. Definitely see a change in my face, definitely my belly. You know, my belly went through the door first, and then I entered. You know, so definitely it's I'm able to wear a tight fitting shirt. I may not look the best in it, but I know what I'm going to look like in a few weeks. You know, so or a few months.
So also here, Robert had pants on when he first did the first scan, so everything from the waist down is going to be distorted, and over here has shorts. So we're just concentrating on here, and this is really the main part we're looking at, because there's a lot of in the aging process, we also not only have subcutaneous fat, which is the fat on the outside of the muscle, but we also have the visceral fat, which is on the inside of the muscle, and that's kind of the danger part. That's the part we want to get rid of. And in order to do that, you know, staying on the weight training, the exercise, the nutritional intake is going to get him there. And also growth hormone has a lot to do with it too. But by lifting weights, it stimulates not only your testosterone levels, but also your growth hormone too. So you can do it naturally. Also, DHEA was also part of your supplement list.
Yes, sir.
To bump up your natural testosterone. It's a precursor for testosterone. Let's see what else. We had milk thistle. We had metabolic synergy, which is kind of a multivitamin that has CoQ10 in, which is a mitochondria energizer, which is every muscle cell has mitochondria. So it really helps your heart out too, because your heart is about this big and it lies in here, and also it's made of all muscle. So the most concentrated part of mitochondria is in your heart. So it also will help your heart out too. So, okay. I know mine's been broken so many times, I don't know if I can fix it. Anyway, so this is one measurement here. Now, we also did a side measurement here, and you can see we got the same numbers here. It's just I took the actual measurements of the lines off, and we just did a silhouette from the side. And you can see right here where that belly used to pop out, or did pop out when we first started, isn't there now. Now, granted, he's leaning a little bit forward on up here, because you're staring down at the wrong spot.
Yeah.
But anyway, but you can see this right here in the back where he's lost a lot right here. So you don't even need to have the measurements here. You can just look at yourself in 3D. Nobody ever likes to look at it, but you can see yourself in 3D and you can see the results. How does that make you feel, huh?
Oh, unbelievable. Yeah, it's definitely, you know, makes you feel like that's a solid accomplishment, you know, and you know, I drive a long ways to come over here, and if I couldn't see any results, it wouldn't benefit me to drive, you know, an hour to come see Ray. But it definitely, you know, like I said, I can bend over. I'd bend over and my back would pop because my belly, you know, would push in, you know, and literally, and nowadays, you know, I don't have to worry about my back popping every time I bend over, or my fat under my arms from the laser treatment, you know, it's burned most of that out. Used to, I'd jump off of a trailer and slap, and
Keep moving.
and I'm like, dang, and then, but the last couple of weeks, I've been making those same moves and all that, and I don't hear any of the after effect. So it's definitely been 1,000% worth it.
What Robert's talking about is the laser. Robert went with the 2 days that we work out. We work out upper body one day, lower body the next day, and the other session we do is with the Strawberry Laser Lipo, and it's just basically a heating pad that has lasers on it that emulsifies the fat cells and pokes holes in them and actually gets the triglycerides, the fatty acids, and the glycerol out of the cell, collapses them, and he loses inches that way. And that's been a great asset too, adding that on. Yeah. And also gives you a day off from really working out. You just kind of lay there and just,
That's it.
I know.
Easy.
I've heard you snorting in there. I know. Anyway, so now we're going to look at the bioimpedance scale right here. So this is going to judge a lot of what the results that Robert has is with water. Water is the biggest ingredient that we have in our body, or one of them. And when you start losing weight or start losing, you get on a ridiculous fad, gimmicky thing you see on TV, and they ship it to you, the food, you eat the food and all that, what you're really losing is water. Okay, that's it. Okay, you're not really making any gains. Actually, you're probably healthier just to go back to where you were eating, just not as much of it, because it's all genetically modified and the portions are smaller. If you really looked at the portions, they're a lot smaller than they make them look like on TV, and it's really not all that great for you. And again, that's just my personal opinion. But anyway,
I've done excuse me for the
go ahead.
But I've done a Nutrisystem program for about 2 weeks, and I think the box tasted better than the food. It was so. That didn't work out for me. So
it's not sustainable, right?
Right, and so and then after that, I really didn't even try to diet anymore. And that was 12 years ago. And like I said, I was strictly a Dr. Pepper Snickers guy, and then a steak at night and potatoes and everything else that went along with it. And so, it's like I said, the whole routine is just, a total 360 change for me. So I definitely recommend, any of these treatments, the blood tests, the laser treatments, and definitely the workout, easy enough to do.
Plus the hormone replacement. Now, we haven't started that yet. No. We've got the prescriptions from the doctor for that, but that's going to change your life. It's going to make you feel like you were 17 to 25-year-old again. That's going to really help your strength. It's going to help your mood. It's going to increase your energy. So put your seatbelt on for that one too. So anyway, we're going to go again look at the numbers here, because Robert started at 254 pounds, and now he's down to 246. So he lost about 8 pounds there. But most of it came from fat weight. As a matter of fact, about 7 pounds came from fat. The other was water. His inches, he's lost a total of 7 inches. We went over that. But his body fat went down 2.6% in just a month. Okay? So our goal is to get under 30% body fat. At 30% body fat, most medical professionals will put you in the obese category. And that's a red flag for hypertension, high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and things like that. So our first goal is to get your body fat down under 30%. Now, I'm taking a whole different approach from what you probably heard about there. Okay, what am I doing talking about body fat and CRP and A1C and insulin and all that? And by the way, you were insulin resistant too. Right. Okay, so that's two. You can be diabetic and or insulin resistant at the same time, or one or the other. And you had both against you. So if you would have just dieted conventionally, like the food products that you had delivered to your house, you're going to get frustrated. You're going to spend all that money. And by the way, am I expensive? Well, let's think about all those diet things that you've tried and all those gadgets, the shake weight, you know, the HCG, the Thigh Masters, all that money that you spent on that over the years, I think I'm a pretty darn good deal.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, get it done right. Get it over with. Okay? All right, so anyway, so at this point, as far as your diet goes, what have we done there? You take a picture, right?
Yes, sir. I take a picture, send it to Ray, and you know, ask him if this is, you know, all right. And he always sends me a thumb up, you know, saying, yeah, you know, keep going forward. And like I said, you know, it's all a combination of all of it. You know, you can't do one without the other. You know, and I think that, you know, we started off and for a couple of weeks, and then we didn't have our blood test back, and so we were just, you know, slinging in the wind, other than just dropping weight and eating right. But when I got that blood test back, it was the Bible, you know,
right?
And it told me, you know, exactly what I needed and what I better do, you know.
When was the last time you saw a doctor before you saw your blood test?
Man, yeah, it was a long time, probably at least 5 years, 6 years, and at that time I'd done a blood test actually for him, because he seen I was heavy, and he first rattled out of the box when he got it back. He said that he said, well, you're diabetic, and I'm going to start, you know, I'm going to have to start you on insulin. And needless to say,
this is another doctor.
Yeah, this
didn't come from here,
right? And that was the last time I went to see him, because I didn't want to be on insulin. So I haven't even been to a doctor until, you know, I had a leg injury, and that's actually how I got introduced to Ray as far as our last video goes. And because I was looking for personal trainers to help me with my weight, to help me with my leg, because they had prescribed me physical therapy 2 or 3 times a week. That was $190 a session. So, you know, that jumped it up to, you know, $480 a week just to do physical therapy. And like I said on the last video, you know, everyone that I seen was mostly virtual. And about 2 hours later, old Ray called and said that, you know, hey, I can help you. I can help your leg. I can help all of you. I said, well, I'm coming to see you. And like I said, you know, it hadn't regretted it, not 1 minute.
Yeah, and you're a perfect example of when you follow the procedure that I set through, or the program, that you're going to see results. It's flawless. You know, I've been a bodybuilder for 38 years on the national level, and you know, I have more certifications or letters behind my name than the alphabet, I think.
Right, yeah.
And so at least I know how to pass a test and win a contest, if nothing else, right? But anyway, so you get both a lot of services here. You don't have to do either one or any specific one. You cherry pick what you want to do, and whatever your goals are, then, you know, I'm with you. I jump in right with you, and I don't like to lose. Okay, you can look at my trophy somewhere.
Yeah, well, you know, it's kind of like taking a trip. You know, you got to know where you're going in order for you to get there. And the information that I've received and the knowledge that I've received from Ray, you know, I'm not really taking a shortcut, but you know, I know I'm going to get there. And like I said again, you know, that I don't regret it 1 minute.
And it's just the sustainability of being able to continue. You know, I'm an educator. I'm here to give you the tools so that you can, you know, fly from the nest and do this on your own. And the education that you get is today's environment, the food, the pollution, the genetically modified organisms, and all the stuff that they can't feed the world anymore. We got too many people. So, you know, a lot of shortcuts are being made, and it takes a toll on our body. Our bodies aren't made that way. We didn't evolve that way. So with that explanation, we can make better choices. The exercise, you know, of course, is the best medication in the world. And the combination of what we do here is the key to your success. Right. And all you have to do is just contact me.
Call Ray.
There you go. Okay, so anyway, we're going to update probably in another couple weeks or a month, or we'll see how things go. and keep you all informed what's going on. And for right now, this is Ray Bessette, and this is my client Robert. We're going to sign out. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, give me a subscribe, and we'll get you on the list and send you the next video. And I hope you enjoyed this and learned something from it. If you'd like to comment or have any questions, go ahead in the comment section. Until next video, this is Ray Bessette.